Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be playing RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business on the GTX 1650, 3060 and 4060. How are you guys doing? Welcome. First of all, thanks to Nacon for providing a code of the game a couple days in advance. I wasn't actually expecting to get it early, but I couldn't talk about it at that point. This is a DLC, but it's a standalone DLC. This means that you don't need the base game to play this. You can buy it separately. Right now, you can get it on Steam. It's out. And I think it's $30. So yeah, how's it going, guys? Sihed Hassan, Marco Antonio, Pavel, Dexter. So if you haven't played the main game, that's okay. This is more of a... This game already gives you some skills and stuff that the main game gives you, but there is a tutorial with everything inside the game itself, which is good to see. But it doesn't carry over your upgrades from the main game, which I found a bit disappointing. But the requirements, it's a UE5 game, one of the early ones, a 1060 as a minimum and recommended a 3080. And well, CPU requirements are also not high, 16 GB of RAM. I mean, yeah. I'm doing fine. What about you, sir? Personally, RoboCop Rogue City, the actual full game, it's on Game Pass right now if you haven't played it. So first of all, thanks, I forgot to mention, thanks to Xbox for providing Game Pass for PC. And you can find the game right here. So it's on Game Pass if you have it. Very good game in my opinion. It's UE5, but it actually runs okay, at least in my opinion. And I like the destruction side of it. I mean, visually some parts are pretty breathtaking, some others don't look that great, especially the characters, but that's the nature of a AA game at the end of the day. And these are the developers behind the Rambo video game, which was horrible, but then the Terminator video game, which was actually pretty good. So yeah, enough rambling, let's get into the game. You're doing alright, lost a scaling 10 times better on Steam Deck. I'm going to try it again, that's for sure. Your phone keyboard is trolling you. Oops. What's good? How's it going? Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's a good game. It's more of the same. So if you're expecting something different, this is, again, basically the same as Rogue City in that regard, but seems to be a bit more linear, which I don't consider a bad thing. But I think if you like the base game, you're going to like this one, and you don't need to buy the base game to play it. So first of all, share a compilation. GG, that's a good sign. Someone tested Cyberpunk again on Steam Deck with lossless scaling, runs 60 to 70. Yeah, but that's probably frame gen. So yeah, no wonder. It has to with frame gen. So again, here if you see your CPU spike to 100%, this is normal, it's shader compilation. Although I found some stutters when I was playing it on my own in my higher-end PC. But overall, runs pretty similar to the base game. A little bit better because it's more closed-off environments. But we're going to check that out in a moment. Oh, and before I forget, I need to back up my save because I'm going to lose it. App data. Local. RoboCop. RoboCop Unfinished Business. Here, my saves. I make a backup. 4GB cards are cooked for upcoming years. Yeah, definitely. Especially UE5 that it's really memory intensive. It's intensive in every way, but on memory, especially for that texture, for those textures, better said. Auto attack video settings. Funny, it's using the settings for my main PC. This is probably at 4K then. Yeah, it's at 4K. Oops! Let's do 1080p. This is a 1080p card, if we're lucky. Oh, and before I forget, the freaking music. Come on. Audio, streamer mode. Yes. And I don't know why some UE5 games do this. That doesn't apply my settings. Oh, it's also on the highest settings. My bad. Detect. I'm going to let it choose the settings for me. The card is crying for mercy. Yeah, I mean, it's on epic settings at 4K, so it was going to cry no matter what. Okay, it's on medium by default. I'm going to put those textures on low. Otherwise, and yeah, let's start with low settings, except in draw distance. Otherwise, we're not going to be having a good time. Again, 4 gigs of VRAM. I'm being a bit generous right now. And I like how XeSS looks on this one. Looks a bit soft, but I mean, that's the price you have to pay for UE5. Yeah, it will hold on a 4070 laptop, that's for sure. I'm not entirely sure if the game is detecting my resolution correctly though. Because it's already crying in the menu. Anyway, let's restart the game very quick. Just to make sure that everything is in order, otherwise it's going to crawl. But that's okay. We got this. Yeah, 8 GB is fine. It's fine if you're not pushing more than 1080p. But you can lower textures if that's an option in the game. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still not sure if the game is at 1080p. That's an issue with UE5 that bothers me to no end. Yeah, according to my screen, we're on 1080p. Okay, now it went up. Perfect. Yeah, we probably overflowed the memory. So we're going to start with 1080p, quality XeSS with low on the settings, without chromatic aberration. And actually, one feedback that they took, you can now disable lumen reflections for a performance increase. So we're going to use SSR. So 1080p low. And we're going to try to go higher later if it looks good. Flag Monkey. I don't see your previous video, your previous comments. Try again. And let's start a new one. I'm going to play on normal, but I recommend playing on hard. Normal is not difficult. Just a heads up. 12 GB of VRAM, good for 1440p? Yeah, definitely.
Has succeeded. It has been decided.
Okay, we skip the cutscenes as usual. There should have been a reflection in the ground, but lumen reflections are disabled. Okay, here we go. So right now we're in the police station, and in the police station, well, there's been a lot of stuff happening, which means somebody came in and killed everyone. But before I forget, there's something I'm missing. Oh yeah, the tutorials, I'm going to turn them off. I already played the entire game. Will I gigabytes of VRAM hold for upcoming years? Not for long, but it should be fine for now. As long as you lower those textures, you should be good. But as you can see here, at least on this game, without much of a nice boost to the VRAM, we're already at 4 gigs on low textures. But again, 4 gigs is extremely low by today's standards, I guess. Also, do you guys hear the RoboCop steps correctly? Also, I have night vision. I forgot that. And the night vision actually casts shadows, like in Call of Duty. So here you can drop performance pretty hard when looking at this. 8 GB will do some work, but you'll have to upgrade. Yeah, I mean, at some point. And this is what I was talking about. There's some times when we get spikes in the frame time, like in other UE5 games, which shouldn't happen because we're we compiled shaders before this. This shouldn't be an issue. And another defect from UE5 games is the, well, if you zoom in, the global illumination has, if I move the camera, it has some, yeah, some artifact in there, some graininess to it, which again is normal because it's a very low amount of rays, at least in this, on the low preset. In your Far Cry franchise video on 580, Far Cry Focus random spikes, yeah, it's because Far Cry 4 uses like 2 or 3 cores, like Far Cry 3. So yeah, unfortunately it's pretty common. Okay, they stole the machine where I do my upgrades. I think a more ideal resolution for this card at least is 900p actually.
First thing.
But Sarge,
If I
Yeah.
there is no
definitely
Yeah,
no
shadows on low
Settled.
is really a big
Any
hit
ideas
to
what you
shadow
want?
quality. I mean, you can see the edges of the shadows, which makes
So,
sense. I mean, it's the low setting, but still. Blah 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 blah. We skip everything as usual, no spoilers. It's not present on Intel. I'm not sure. I haven't played that game in a while. But I think it affects everything. It's not exclusive to AMD. I saw that again since the beginning. Okay. Right into gameplay. Yeah, definitely I would say 900p makes more sense. I don't want to push it to performance upscaling. It should give us some room. Definitely there's no room for for anything higher than this. So if you want better shadow quality, 720p. Shadow quality on games like this, especially UE5, is pretty expensive. So 900p balanced XeSS. You can also use TSR for a small performance increase. Looks more chunky, but it has better image clarity. XeSS wasn't quality though, but that's okay. I'll try medium shadows. Let's hope for the best. Let's cross our fingers. It's harder. And let's see. 100p low, medium LUTs, medium draw distance, and shadows. And XeSS is on quality, which again I think is best of both worlds. It's not perfect, has ghosting, but yeah, it's an Intel GPU like Battlemage good. Battlemage good. I mean, apparently they did a better job with drivers, but still, yeah, medium shadows is way too hard on the GPU. We're going to keep those on low, but hey, we're below the minimum requirements here. And I'm freaking dying. Yeah, no. As soon as combat happens, things like that are pretty common. Balanced, maybe? But this game has a lot of stuff on screen. I'm always very surprised. How can you know if it's a VRAM issue? Check your VRAM amount, and if your RAM goes higher, it's probably a VRAM issue. Okay, I think that did the job actually. But one thing that I really like about RoboCop Rogue City in general was the destruction and the environment interactions. Things that you probably wouldn't pay a lot of attention to. But in here, yeah, I think it's the VRAM. I think we're pretty heavily VRAM limited. I probably have to restart the game at this point. You heard Battlemage can let you play Doom Eternal pretty good. I mean, yeah, they work. The thing is, they're not as polished when it comes to drivers. But nowadays, I heard they're pretty good overall. So I wouldn't worry too much. If you can afford it and you don't mind using Intel, I don't see why not. Let's try another game restart. But I think the VRAM is cutting us short, honestly. In UE5 it's pretty common. There's no dynamic resolution. Yeah, I mean, there is not. But I don't think that would help here, honestly. Because our issue here is actually if we had dynamic resolution, we'll be using even more VRAM because it needs that extra to actually have the dynamic resolution active. It uses more VRAM. Nvidia and AMD has been hitting prices like hell. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it won't be bad. It depends on what you do. It also has AV1 encoding. So if you do video encoding, you can get pretty good results on a hardware level. Okay. Guys, can you hear the gunshots? Yeah, the thing is, as they start getting more stuff on the screen because of the bullet holes and all that, it starts getting super VRAM intensive. That's why the minimum is at 1060 with 6 GB of VRAM. It's loud and clear? Gotcha. Thanks. Okay. Now that things calm down a little bit, I think 720p makes more sense here. And maybe instead of XeSS, TSR makes more sense, but I was talking about environment interactability. I mean, that is super cool. If you're in the middle of a shootout and somebody shoots that thing, there's going to be things flying into the air, cans of paint or ketchup exploding. That's the one thing I really enjoyed about the game itself. This type of interactability is a pretty good showcase on the visuals, on a visual perspective. It still looks great. What I also noticed here is that there's more reflections than in the base game, but these are SSR. You can disable the lumen reflections. That gives you some help there. Far Cry 4 and compare Intel to AMD. I don't think it's a good time for that. I'm very limited by work. That's why today I'm doing a live stream. But I'm right now focused on these cards and Steam Deck. Maybe in the future I get another GPU for this type of videos, but yeah, that thing of AMD versus Intel, I'm too old for that at the moment. I used to do it when Ryzen came out, but it was a different time. So yeah. I'm also noticing that some effects from the guns and all that are pixelated. That's probably again a VRAM issue. If you look at the muzzle flashes on my own gun, they are like ultra mega pixelated. But again, makes complete sense considering the VRAM limitation. So it can get pretty intense. This happened in the base game as well. We're going for Doom the Dark Ages on Steam Deck with lossless scaling. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm interested in testing that out. Hopefully it doesn't mean 30 FPS. That doesn't mean I need to get frame gem for 30 FPS, because that wouldn't be good. But it's dropping pretty hard. So yeah, you can do 900p, but personally, in this particular case, I'll probably just go for 720 to help the VRAM be less of an issue, honestly. Yeah, 30 FPS lock also makes a lot of sense. I'm going to do that, but with the in-game FPS cap. Let's see if it's any good with that FPS cap. So the settings, at least in my opinion, would be something like this. Quality XeSS at 720 or the equivalent on TSR. So I'm going to change that. 720. Low, medium draw distance, XeSS quality. And there we should be close to the edge of the VRAM usage, but again, 3300X enough for Far Cry 4. You can have a 2-core 4-thread CPU on Far Cry 4 and it will be pretty similar. So on the CPU side, don't worry about Far Cry 4. Trust me, I played that on back then with a 2-core 4-thread i3 and it was okay. It's fine. The game itself is just not very consistent. Let's leave it at that. Christ, that's annoying. Yeah, that's the issue with low VRAM. There is very weird performance because it overflows the VRAM, the amount of VRAM. So the GPU is like, okay, where do I put this? And it's very unpredictable. That's why I restart the game. Because once it overflows the VRAM, we're cooked. We're cooked. 3056 GTX, yeah, you'll be fine. I played that on a 750 Ti at 30 FPS with a slower CPU. If you want 60s, it's pretty hard to pull off in general. Okay, at least I appear here this time. Here we go. Ooh. Well, I wouldn't play this game at 30 FPS. You guys gotta remember that this is a 1650 with 4 GB of VRAM. This is way more stable now. Let's see once more enemies show up. Will you make a video live stream for Cyberpunk with all new stuff? Yeah, probably. Because I like the new upscalers. They put FSR 4, DLSS 4, I think, as well. Oops, wrong button. Okay, got him. So what you get here, I mean, it's a UE5 game. It looks pretty similar to the base game. It's basically the same thing. But you get the skills earlier in the game. So you now have the slow-mo, that flash for like the flashbang effect, the shield, the dashing. You get it from the get-go, which is a great thing in my opinion. And it's more closed-off environments, but despite that there's a lot of enemies, so that makes it immediately more difficult to run. Because every shot that they get to you can destroy stuff, and there's particles flying into the air. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a visual spectacle when it comes to particles, at least in my opinion. And you can rebound bullets to hit the enemies. Yeah, just like old games used to do expansions. Yeah, there's new guns, new features when it comes to the enemies. Now they have more armor. And I saw that there was also a freezing gun that I haven't unlocked yet. And the smoke is hilarious at this quality setting. Anyway, let me go back to the menu. I'm going to go ahead and skip lots of the DLC to my save, that I have more stuff to show you. Because I finished a couple of chapters. And I think there's more interesting stuff to see. Also, my character has way more way more to show. I think it's continue. No, that's not it. No, I have to reload. Okay, that's okay. Let's try that again. But yeah, 720p, locked to 30 with medium draw distance, low settings, quality XeSS. I think we can actually put it on native 720, I think. But considering the amount of VRAM, we need to do that. Otherwise, the VRAM is just like, I'm tired, boss. Yeah, I think you milked the GTX for now. Yeah, I went a little bit too hard on it. Here we go. This is my latest save. Again, no spoilers. I'm going to skip everything as usual. 96-bit bus. Yeah, that's not going to help, but it should still be playable.
There's a door ahead of you, but I see it's locked.
And Far Cry 4, it's an old game. Oh, I don't have an image. Hold up.
Or maybe you'll find the code.
My capture card, of course. My capture card is not a fan of 720p, as you can probably notice. But anyway, 30 FPS, this is way later into the expansion, maybe 2 hours in. It doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot happens in the first 2 hours. And this part, that I'm playing has way more enemies, so this is a good stress test. And my guns are way better, of course. Do I have the shotgun? No, I have the... I don't have ammo on the machine gun. And I'm also playing on hard, so it's going to be a bit more challenging. 3050 requires 6 ping, yeah, 6 ping, definitely. Or 8 ping. I think the 6GB 3050 has an 8 pin. Which is it's a joke that we don't have cards without PCIe, with no connector. Those cards never came back. The last one was the 1650, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's using a lot of RAM right now, but again, it's related to the VRAM. I'm pretty sure. We have so much VRAM being utilized, it allocates it to RAM, which is slower. That's why the game sometimes hard locked to 10 FPS. That's why we're doing 720. There's unfortunately no way around that. UE5 is super VRAM heavy. Hence why we should have at least 12 gigabytes on the 60 series cards. Oh, the shotgun, yes please. Because if we had more VRAM here, the game would do a lot better, at least at 900p. But I think it's passable, it's okay. Yeah, better than Stalker 2 on performance, yeah, definitely. Stalker 2 runs way worse, uses more CPU, and it's an open world. This is closed off environments. Oof. The thing is, you have to sacrifice that shadow quality. And as you can see, it's a AA game, just look at the characters.
I will let...
Sure.
Thanks.
But anyway, let's look at those shadows for a moment. You don't have self shadow either, I don't know why. But if you look at the shadows here, these are some PS2 shadows going on. You can see the edges. And this is a result of the low shadows option. The thing is, if you increase the shadows, apart from the big GPU hit, it uses more VRAM. So these are way better, but the VRAM hit is pretty large. We're going to keep it like that and see if anything happens. But again, I'm trying to get this game looking good and playing good on a 1650 with 4 GB of VRAM. Yeah, PCIe 4.0 is a good idea, especially for the Intel GPUs, otherwise you're going to lose a lot of performance. He's right. Okay, here we go. Breaching! Just aimbotting like crazy.
Are you alright?
Yeah, man. Thanks.
What
Yeah, those
happened?
characters, man.
I just got lost.
And I love that the framing of the characters, this is a feedback that I will have for the developer for future games. The camera that's pointing to the character talking should be clipping this part of the head.
All right.
Otherwise it looks odd. Like his head should be at this height. The framing looks weird. PCIe 3.0 8X with 96 gigs. Yeah, you'll be fine for Far Cry 4 with that card. What you have already with the 3056 gigs, you'll be fine. Far Cry 4 is not hard to run. Okay. Smash the locker, sure. So yeah, I think I showed you enough of the 1650. Again, my advice is 720. 720 with medium draw distance, medium shadows, but if you get worse performance, put those shadows on low. There's no way around it. And quality XeSS. It's a pretty low resolution, but it's a UE5 on a 1650 with 4 GB of VRAM. I mean, there are UE5 games that don't load textures if you have 4 gigs. Happy to help, and thank you guys for responding to the questions as well. Oof. Yeah, this traversal stutter that happens. Not an exclusive problem of this computer.
Let me see.
Echo, what?
We skip everything.
If
There we go. Access granted. But as you can see, this is more linear than the base game. The base game is more like open-ended places
you
that
get
have
the new
linear
code?
environments within them.
You need
This
to
is
find
more
the
like
code.
a
There's a big
linear
green
thing,
area ahead.
which again I'm
That's
fine
the
with.
rest.
Not everything needs to be an open world, and this is an expansion at the end of the day. And it looks pretty good. Borderlands 4
Very
requires 8
valuable
gigabytes. Is
insight
it a
I could
lie?
have
I don't
never
think it's a
seen on
lie.
my
It's an UE5 game, and new games. I mean, we're jumping from Borderlands 3 that was a PS4 game to Borderlands 4 that is a current gen game with UE5, so they made a big engine
I will start
difference.
with bartenders,
I'm pretty
the
sure
streetwise
they're going to put
specialists.
very heavy emphasis on textures.
There's an emergency.
So I'm pretty sure it's not a lie. It just means, I mean, 6 gigabytes is probably enough, but it's going to run poorly
need to
in
go
open
through-
locations. I'm pretty sure. That's what I mean.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Pimpo. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm happy to be back here. I've been very busy with work. Luckily, there's a lot of work to do, which is awesome. I've been building some VR stuff that I cannot talk about. Sorry, but it's been pretty cool. That's why I've been making one video per week lately. It's not laziness. It's just I'm busy with work.
I am looking for some.
You're the everybody.
I'm conducting
I
an
am
investigation.
conducting an
And I don't know what.
Thank.
What co-op?
I know.
Also, this game really captures what the movies do with the dialogues and all that, and the situations that you run into, and also the heavy violence that you see in the movies. If you never watched the movies like me,
RoboCop.
when I started playing
I
the
will-
base game, I knew nothing about RoboCop. And after the first mission, I was like, okay, I need to watch at least the first movie to understand what's going on. And it made it significantly better. So after I watched the first movie, I was like, okay, I dig
hi
this.
there.
It's
I
more
need to-
interesting now.
Feel free to ask.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be exaggerating,
What's the
but at the
rush?
same time, they do that to protect their asses. If somebody enters with a 6 GB GPU and the game happens to be crashing, they're like, oh, but the requirements say 8 gigs.
They both butt if you
Which is understandable, but at the same time,
That is all.
no
it's
problem.
like pretty common nowadays, unfortunately. Many people still don't have more than 6 gigs. And the fact that Nvidia sells cards with 8 gigabytes on the 60 series makes it even worse. Damn kitty. I wonder how it feels. Okay, pet a cat. I got an achievement.
This soup smells like heaven.
Well, also, by the way, the base game has an
I need
achievement
your
for
help.
shooting someone in the crotch.
Give me a moment.
So make sure to
Barney.
do that
Snacks
first.
are on their way.
Here, as you can see,
I'm
this
looking for
part,
Someone who knows how to.
You gotta be kidding me.
certain times when you jump into cutscenes, it will hard lock to 15. I mean, yeah,
Do you
VRAM
know-
I know.
is a huge issue on UE5. Low
I
VRAM.
All right.
I mean,
Thank
at some point, 8 gigabytes is going to have this issue as games use more and more VRAM.
Cats like me.
I have one,
So,
and I can
I'm not
tell you,
surprised.
cats don't
The
like
fur texture destroyed the
Damn
GPU right
golly,
now.
probably didn't even notice that I was gone unless the neighbors forgot to
You found it boring? That's okay. It's not for everyone.
I missed that
It feels to me like an older game with recent graphics, to say it in some way. It's kind of hard to... It's more of a budget title.
You should have it.
I had. Can you go?
But I personally found it super fun. Next gen 8 GB of VRAM will be in this situation. Exactly.
What?
Hopefully later rather than sooner.
What?
You just follow.
The fun thing about this DLC though is that you get lots of skills that in the base game you need to manually unlock right at the beginning. So you get to the fun stuff way faster.
RoboCop? What? Can't shoot straight? Shut up. We need to stay alert and listen if he's getting close.
Yeah, I mean,
Here, Joe.
it's not that we need more VRAM because technical limitations. We need more VRAM because laziness. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shortcuts in UE5 to get things working. I mean, if you don't want to build the lighting by scratch and optimize it, just turn on Lumen, does most of the work. You get the indirect lighting, you don't have to bake anything in. Everything will be faster. And that's a problem because if you don't optimize, it's going to be using more resources. But it's funny because some developers that are not AAA developers do a better job optimizing UE5 than AAA. I mean, this game could have run so much worse. For a UE5 game, it runs better than most, but still. On this card, there's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made. But it works. So anyway, let's jump into the next card. I went a little bit, yeah, almost half an hour with this card. Holy hell. It's because I enjoyed this game too much. That's basically the reason. I'm going to the highest settings for the 3060, but we're going to be probably lowering some stuff to high. You don't need the highest settings. Okay, I applied the settings. Let's get out of the game right away. There exists a possibility that a game could have stuttering because I installed on a mechanical hard drive. Yeah, that could happen. If the game streams assets a lot, like an open world game, that could happen, yeah. As an example, you're moving very quickly through the map. It needs to get the stuff loaded in quickly. It can lead to stutter, yeah. On some new games like Duke the Dark Ages, on a hard drive, stutters like hell, no matter what you do. Here we go. Does the expansion have hardware lumen or is it still software? I think it's still software. I haven't seen a hardware lumen option. We're going to check it out right now that we have an RTX card. Maybe that's why Fortnite runs terribly on your hard drive. That's one of the reasons, but Fortnite itself already stutters like hell. At least for me. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Fortnite, especially when you've launched the game for the first time and you don't have those shaders, even if the game had a pre-compilation phase, it's not working particularly great. Yeah. In gunfights, it drops significantly. I'm talking about RoboCop Rogue City. But that happened in the base game as well. It's not a surprise. And it makes sense because there's a lot of effects, especially when it comes to well, the particles flying when they hit a surface. Any surface that gets shot gets a particle in the air, and there is also some distraction. So it makes sense. I'm really not surprised. Yeah, AMD GPUs are getting better. The thing is the price and the amount of VRAM that they give us. That could be better. Okay. 3060, we have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, so this better be good. But I'm going to start on epic settings just because of the fact that usually epic settings doesn't make a lot of sense. And DLAA. So basically I'm using DLSS as anti-aliasing on this one. AMD GPUs not future-proof? It really depends what do you mean by future-proof, but you cannot tell the future. One thing that you can do to future-proof your card, get something with a lot of VRAM. I mean, the 3060 has 12 gigs, and at least the games won't hard lock to 10 FPS when you're low on VRAM. At least you can be sure of that. But again, the thing with AMD is that since NVIDIA is increasing prices and there's no more competition, Intel maybe, but it's very little part of the market share, AMD can still charge very high prices and nobody can do anything about it. Is this one more hard to run than the original? Not really, but you get to the action on this one way before the original. So on this one, you're like jogging around at the beginning for like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe, if you're looking for clues. But you get into the action right away in comparison to the original. I mean, the original you do get very quickly into fights, but here you get more aggressive enemies and different weapons as well. So I think it's a bit more demanding in that regard. But there's less open environments, so that's something to keep in mind. No, not always, Bahamut, not always. AMD still pushing very high prices with low VRAM as well. They're playing the same game. And it depends on the card's tier as well. Anyway, we're going to use DLSS as anti-aliasing, so DLAA. And we're on the Epic preset, which again, I think is kind of a waste, but we're going to do it anyway, just to see how it runs. Then we start tweaking stuff. Oh, but it looks so much better now. Obviously, I was playing at 720. Okay. Let me restart the capture card super quick. There we go. I don't have audio for some reason. Hold up. I love when that happens. Okay, now I do have audio. All right. I still do not hear the game. Do you guys hear the game by any chance? I don't think so. That's weird. No audio on the game. Yeah, it's here. Okay. I heard something. Let's try that one more time. I love bugs. Here we go. Yeah, I think when I alt tab, it breaks. Let's try that again. But I heard something while I was getting back into the game. Yeah, still nothing. Maybe full screen doesn't work properly. Oh yeah, on full screen. Okay. Weird. On full screen I don't have audio. That's a shame because if I use borderless, I'm not at AB, I'm at 4K. That's weird. Never seen that before. Alright. I have a fix for that. I need to change my desktop resolution and keep it on borderless mode. That's the fix. I hate when games do that. Especially UE5 games have that issue. That full screen sometimes is broken. Yeah, a glimpse of it. A glimpse of audio. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. Yeah, that fixed the problem. Now we can actually play. Weird bug. There we go. Sorry about that.
Aren't you worried that we're stuck in this building with RoboCop? What? Can't shoot straight? Shut up. We need to stay alert and listen if he's getting close.
Although I find the audio a little bit low.
No.
I'm pretty sure it was louder before. But as you can see, on the highest settings, without upscaling, you get something like this. But I think I have some delay. Maybe actually I have G-Sync on. That usually breaks my recordings.
Taking cover! Target acquired.
But as you can see, it's pretty intensive. But this is, again, the highest settings. So there's a lot of room to improve here. Let's go. Let's do some tweaks. Okay, so everything is on Epic. This is a good look actually for the game. Let's try first shadows on high. So we jump from 49 to 50. Oh, 51. Okay, a couple extra frames. Effects, this is a big one, probably. 51. We stay on the same one, but it's probably when we get shot. Global illumination should also be a big one. Yeah, definitely. Is the amount of rays for the global illumination. That's important. Reflections, they're lumen reflections. Oh, also reflection. I don't see anything related to hardware lumen, by the way. Shading, this should be important. Every surface gets those rays bouncing there. And post-processing shouldn't be a big deal on this one. Yeah, you got a couple, yeah, maybe 5 frames more due to the global illumination. So I think we can actually put it on epic, except in shadows, global illumination, and effects, and reflections. And this should do fine. So we are on, yeah, mix of epic, high to epic settings, high epic settings. All right, that seems to do it. And again, for the little extra we need, probably quality upscaling, and we should be good. In the OG game, switching from Lumen to SSR gives you the biggest performance boost. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Lumen is ray tracing, SSR is screen space. So you get like 5 frames more. Makes sense. It really depends on the area though, but I'd rather keep Lumen in this case because let's see how the reflections look. If they look garbage, we're going to put them back on SSR. Okay, DLAA. Yeah, way better. I think I have motion blur on. Ugh. Yeah. Immediately. Let's see, gunfight. Okay, we drop into the 50s. We can fix this with quality DLSS. But the game looks great. And I can say that because I just played it at the lowest settings at 720 a few moments ago. The smoke there didn't have a texture. But I really do enjoy this game a lot. Oops. So yeah, in this particular case, I'll keep it like this, exactly how you see it here, but ultra quality. Oh, this game has ultra quality DLSS. But I think quality makes more sense. Ooh, yeah, it's a huge jump on quality. This does look okay with quality. But again, it's all up to you. If you don't like how it looks at 1080p with this upscaling. Oh, but it's so smooth now. Oh man. I love that we can do this. It's so much better. Yeah, I tried it on the 1650. It's very VRAM limited. You can get away with it, but at 720p, unfortunately, with upscaling. To keep that VRAM at bay. This at the beginning. And when it comes to VRAM, as you can see guys, at 1080p, it's like 6.5 gigs. And I love the gore also. That blood splatter. Okay. Where to now? There we go. That's right. Also, shadows on high still look pretty pixelated, actually. Some of them. Yeah, this smaller shadows. But now we have room to actually crank that up. So let's do that. If we're sacrificing resolution, we gotta increase the settings, right? Yep. That does it. But it feels very smooth now. Well worth it. Yeah, maybe the one that I'll lower is global illumination. I thought it was an adult. That kid is dressed like an adult. Well,
Gary,
it's
your
a
mother's
kid from the
worried.
80s or 90s,
Dad
right?
says she's always. Do you think that?
That is an order, officer.
RoboCop.
Okay,
I am
so
sorry,
50%,
something
52% of
distracted
you
me.
played RoboCop Rogue City. Well, to the remaining 48%, it's on Game Pass, so you can play the base game on Game Pass. The expansion is not, but you don't need the base game to play the expansion, which is great. I wish more games did that. Because this expansion, the action is way more focused than the base game. The base game is not bad, it's just a slower progression. Oof, that fall. What a drop, sir. Rest in pepperonis. I hope YouTube doesn't mind that I'm doing this scan. Okay, what other clue do we have? Oh, a tattoo. Wow. That cigarette package is huge. Ooh, grenade launcher. I don't remember this in the base game. Ooh, nice. I am doing a dog watch for efforts who can clean up after themselves. Okay. They're talking about the corpse in the in that room. Breach. Breaching with a grenade launcher doesn't seem like a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ooh, that's badass. Yeah, I don't remember a weapon like this in the base game. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But you basically vaporize them with this. I love that you, yeah, look at look at the explosion damage. Jesus Christ. That's cool. I wish more games did this. That is freaking cool. Some stuff though is still grounded, but still. I love those details.
Eyes on target.
Also guys, I forgot to show you one other detail that I like from the environment. That's awesome. I noticed that stuff because when I was shooting, sometimes the enemies hit one of these machines and started flying stuff all over the screen.
3-1. Move your ass to the left flank.
Oh yeah. Okay, 1080p is fine, but I think it's time for 1440p. So let's do that. 1440p. It's a pretty common resolution nowadays. I was surprised to see how many people, especially you guys in the chat, have a 1440p display. They're pretty common now. Okay, I think we're at 1440p now. Let me check. Yeah, definitely looks significantly better. So 1440p, let's try DLAA first, super quick, on the highest settings, because why not? Just to see what it looks like. Go. Okay, it looks super sharp. It's insane how good 1440p looks with only 33% more pixels. But that means 30 FPS. Did you buy the Switch 2? No, I'm not buying the Switch 2. Games are too expensive. And I already have a Steam Deck, so I'm happy with that, personally.
Contact. Taking position.
Balance DLSS with lower global illumination, effects and shadows. Yep. And reflections. And that should help us hit 60s. Okay. Maybe quality. No, I think balance makes more sense. Balance DLSS still looks good at 1440p, in my opinion. High Epic settings. ¿Qué dice el Fonegro? ¿Todo bien? Tanto tiempo. Los extrañé. I miss you guys. Yeah, good thing I chose balance. Otherwise it'll be below 60 here. But again, if you play the base game, it's basically a more linear experience, but more of the same when it comes to the gameplay. But you have more guns, more story stuff. Yeah, I mean, my issue with the Switch 2 is not, well, first of all, I'm tired of console environments. After playing with the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally, it's difficult to accept a console, a handheld, at least in my opinion, that I have basically no control over. And many of the titles that I would like to play on a Switch 2, I already have them on PC, and I have to rebuy many games to access those. And again, those games are so expensive, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. It's stronger than the Steam Deck when docked, that's for sure, it needs to be. But I'm just disappointed on game prices and all the BS around it. Also, the screen doesn't look amazing in my opinion. It's LCD, whatever. But I wish at least there would be an OLED option or something. What is the processor? It's in the description. It's a 13th Gen i5.
You can let me through.
About that.
The right.
But again, my issue with Switch 2, price of games.
Oh my.
Good think.
Did you hear? I can't. Are you?
Open the
It
gate.
is my duty.
Yeah, probably, maybe in a couple of years. If people make enough noise, Nintendo will release an OLED model.
The main technical room is near. From
And I
there,
failed some
you can
objectives
get
because there are secondary
And my
objectives that
name's
you can do,
Miranda, by the way.
helping people out, like in the base game.
Why are you telling me now?
But again, it's more of a linear thing.
Now,
Hell signals now
I
jammed.
hate traversal
That
stutter.
motherfucker is
Stutter in
now
general.
alone.
Yeah, I mean, in South America, the Switch 2 is more expensive than a PS5. The Switch 2 in South America is more expensive than a PS5 Pro. Anybody else? By the way, good time for 4K. So I can swap to the 4060 after this one. Okay, 4K. Okay. 4K. Okay, for 4K I'm going to lower the settings quite a bit. So let's put everything on high first. And we drop that global illumination to medium. And here I'm going to sacrifice those lumen reflections. So 4K high. No lumen reflections. No creo que sea lo de los shaders porque se compilan al principio. O sea, pasa todas las veces. Yeah, guys, I was responding that actually, in my opinion, it's not a thing with shaders. I think it's just traversal stutter like other UE5 games, which again, it's a pain in the ass, but it's there. We cannot ignore it. At 4K is basically 30 FPS. That looks super sharp. And we're using performance upscaling, which internally is 1080p, but it looks way better than 1080p. Without a doubt. But it's also more demanding than do it in native. So this is not a 4K card, that's for sure. But it can do it. Also, when it comes to VRAM, at 4K it seems to be okay with less than, yeah, it's using less than 8 gigs 4K with this settings. That was a nice detail. Okay, how do I get that? Oh, never mind. Breaching! Very eager for Borderlands 4. Personally, I saw it and to me it looked like Borderlands 3 with... Again, it didn't look that much different from Borderlands 3. Yeah, the details, the graphics are better and all that, but I don't feel very different. I don't feel super excited for it personally. It looks like more of the same, which is a good thing, but that's as far as I go. I still have to finish Borderlands 3, but I'm finding it so boring. I hope Borderlands 4 is more fun. Only 7 GB of VRAM at 4K, yeah. Although we're indoors, so that can vary, but still. But most of this DLC is basically all the DLCs indoors. Okay. So much health. Hi there. Points. Oops, wrong button. Make money, sure. Let's grab all the evidence. Yeah, some objects are not destructible. That's a shame. This rifle is not super interesting to me. Anybody here? Nobody. First-person games run better than third. I mean, you have a wider FOV on third-person games generally, so... Yeah, that could be a thing. Excuse me? Is this the physics class? I think I should play on the hardest difficulty. This part is way too easy, even on hard. Shotgun. So screwed. It's very reminiscent of Crisis.
Engaging target.
That's funny. Oh! The model disappeared. I saw it.
Open fire.
Yeah, no. Not doing that. Almost got him. Almost there. Okay. Anybody else?
Engaging the enemy.
Yes.
Engage the target.
But again, when you get effect heavy like this is when it gets difficult for the GPU.
Engaging target.
Just like the base game. But it feels intense. I really enjoy it due to that.
Target acquired. 3-1. On the move.
Another is shields as well.
Suppressive fire.
Bonk. Anyway, 4060 time. ¿Qué dice Davnike? ¿Todo bien? ¿No te terminó de gustar? Bueno, está bien. O sea, puede pasar. Yo personalmente nunca fui fan de RoboCop, pero el juego me hizo ver la película y dije, ah, ok, ahora entiendo. Pero puedo entender. Alright, 4060. We put it on the highest again, just to keep it ready for that. But hey, so far so good. On the 3060, it's easy to run, so far. You don't need to do a lot. Ok. Sí, Elfo, yo vi las primeras dos. Porque me dijeron que después de las primeras dos eran espantosas. Entonces dije, ta, me quedo ahí. Yeah, I mean, I watched the first movie when I started playing the game, the base game, because I didn't know anything about RoboCop. And I ended up watching the first two because most people told me, hey, anything past the second movie doesn't make sense. Just like in Terminator, actually. And that's what I did. And I'm pretty satisfied. Yeah, I'm very, very violent movies, which made it... It makes more sense now looking at the game, why they took those decisions. Alright. 1080p. That's the first one. Shouldn't be difficult. Sí, sí, no hay vuelta. Davnik. Yeah, I mean, I have to do both languages on the stream, definitely. I cannot escape, and that's okay. I like knowing two languages and swap between them. It used to wreck my brain. Now it does it, but in a lesser amount. Yeah, I'm going to make a lossless scaling video soon. I'm getting ready for it. It's just that I've been working on franchise videos for Steam Deck because I was interested in checking that out. But I'm very busy on work, so I can only do like one video per week, maximum. Maybe one stream every once in a while. The one that's coming next week is Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. That one's coming out, I think, on Thursday or Tuesday next week. I think Thursday. I don't know. The thing is, I got access to Wu Chang Fallen Feathers like a couple weeks in advance. So that's one that I'm definitely going to cover. But I also want to cover lossless scaling, because it's now on Steam Deck as well, yeah. Well, gracias, Davnike. Se aprecia mucho. Yeah, Final Fantasy franchise on Steam Deck when? Probably either not next week, the other week. That's when I'm planning to do it. I already have those installed. Probably the next video is going to be this game on Steam Deck, this DLC. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I can shove in lossless scaling in between. That's the thing. Okay, highest settings, 1080p with DLAA. So we're using DLSS as anti-aliasing. Elden Ring at 60 thanks to lossless. Are we talking about frame gen here? Can you please clarify that? Okay, it's loading assets. Please finish loading assets. It's weird that the game does that, because it's compiled in shaders before launch. I don't get it. And I'm a floating monitor, as you can see. Okay, frame gen. Gotcha. That explains it. I don't like frame gen either. I mean, I understand, but the game just feels less responsive to me. It looks smoother, but it responds less. It doesn't do what I'm asking the game to do. That's my problem with it. Yeah, number is higher, but latency is also higher. To me, it's pretty much a deal breaker. But again, if you like that sort of thing, there's nothing stopping you. Heavy combat is dropping below 60. Expected after seeing what the 3060 was like. But still. Atoms. Yeah, here I actually go for ultra quality DLSS, which is pretty odd. Most games do not have that. Yeah, I don't think it does anything on ultra quality. But on quality we get basically 100 FPS. But you can also lower global illumination to high if you don't want to use DLSS. So keep that in mind. But since we can push it to the highest, like this, I'll keep it with DLSS quality. It's also very damn smooth. Only does frame gen, lossless scaling on Steam Deck. Ah, that's a shame. I thought it did upscaling as well. Around the 16 milliseconds of latency. How do you measure that? Does the software tell you, or they're measuring it with a high-speed camera? Genuinely curious. Because no matter what you do, FrameGen will always have more input lag, because you're generating a frame in between each frame. They try to mask it as best as they can, obviously, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have latency. If they tell you it doesn't have latency, it's BS, because, again, the principle of FrameGen is we create a frame in between from the information of two frames. So that's physics. There's no way there's no latency. It's impossible. Far Cry 4 doing the engine is bad on Zen 2. Again, are we talking about this again? Far Cry 4 is an old game. I like Far Cry 4, but I don't have time to do more content on older games at the moment. Unless it's a Steam Deck video, then that's another thing. Because I play older games generally with Steam Deck. Okay, he dropped the shield for some reason. I almost died. There we go. Yeah, the smoke is the one that kills the frame rate, but that makes sense. This particle effect's very close to the camera. And since I'm standing right here, let's swap to 1440p. 1080p is a cakewalk for this card. So yeah. There it goes, 1440. And on this one, I'm actually going to keep quality personally, but if you want DLAA, you're going to be into the 40s. Yep. Lowering global illumination and shadows. Yeah, that gives you mid-50s with DLAA. At least standing here with nothing happening. So at 1440p, if you want 60s, personally, quality upscaling. You don't need balance. You can do quality with the global illumination and shadows on high. Actually, you can actually push it harder. Yep. And let's see how gunfights fare. 1440p epic. DLSS 4. No, I think this is DLSS 3 actually. But you can change it with the NVIDIA app, which is going to affect performance a bit, but better image quality. Firmware update pending. Oops. Hopefully the power doesn't go out when we're updating the BIOS. Okay, what else? I want the flashbacks to Alex Murphy. Yeah, lock the FPS with Riva Tuner, that helps a lot. Unlock frame rates in older Far Cry games, older than 5 at least. Even Far Cry 5 has stuttering issues when traversing. This is not a new problem. It's been like that for a while. Did you watch the OG movie? Yes. When I started playing the original game... Okay, hold up. Oh, I can do individual ones. Okay. When I started playing the original that I was enjoying, I was like, okay, I don't understand who these characters are. I'm going to watch the movie, and I ended up watching both movies. I had a great time. Yeah, but these switches are too small. It's easy to get the wrong one. Let's start here. Minus 18. Yeah, this doesn't matter. Ah, okay. Okay. Got the sequence. Okay, I got you. There we go. You too? Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know anything about RoboCop because old franchise. But when I started playing the game, I had to watch the movie, and it made the game so much better. So much fun service. It's ridiculous. It's clear that the developers of the game really are huge fans of RoboCop. Same happened to me with the Terminator game, which is UE4, is way less polished than this one, than this game. Okay, turn off and turn on the server. Yeah, I need to activate the rest. But the same happened to me with Terminator. I played the game, I was like, okay, I need to watch the movies. I did, the first 2 ones, and then I continued playing the game, and it makes it a million times better. Yeah, same here, I think it's underrated. But I like AA games like this one. This actually feels, I mean, it's obviously a AA game, you can notice. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It feels more like a game I played maybe on early PS4 era, but with modern graphics. It doesn't need to be... not everything needs to be AAA. But maybe I'm getting old. Are you going to test Mind's Eye? I don't think so. I should have gotten to it when it released, but I personally just didn't want to buy it. I asked for a review code, but obviously they're not going to give me a review code. They actually offered me to react to the trailer for the game in exchange for a code, but the small letter said that I couldn't compare it with other games when I was reacting to the trailer, and I couldn't say a lot of things, and I was like, this is BS. I'm not doing propaganda for a game that I know nothing about that looks horrible in the trailers. ¿Qué edad tengo? Tengo 29. Día de ñoquis. ¿Pero por qué preguntas eso? ¿Qué hice? As you can see, the character... Oh, this is a flashback. So now you get Alex Murphy before RoboCop 1 happened. Let's see, this scene...
We knew. Did you know that we?
I know.
But I mean, you can tell it's a AA game. Look at the characters.
Ask Murphy. He was the cop of the month.
Murphy. What? How?
But I'm going to skip so you guys don't get spoiled.
All units in the vicinity dispatch.
Getting old.
Units. 187-213 suspects fleeing the scene.
Oh. I get it. I said getting old. You're right. Well, I'm getting old. This year, I'll be 30 by November. Okay, now I'm not RoboCop. I'm actually RoboCop before he became a machine. This is what I was actually interested in seeing in the expansion.
The hood is still warm. They've only just arrived.
We're in the right place then.
Yeah, this thing's AA game is more like a mix of high budget and indie. This is like borderline in between indie and AAA. But I think AA describes it completely fine.
Someone got in through here, but we need to look for another way. It looks
It's just a game that wants you to have fun. And if you're a fan of RoboCop, you're probably going to understand all the fan service. One thing that I'm noticing is that I can crouch. As RoboCop, you cannot crouch or sprint. That's pretty funny.
They must have entered somewhere else.
Okay, find a way
let's not waste
inside.
time. We're going in through that door.
Yeah, please open the freaking door. Did you finish Claroscuro Expedition 33? Yes, I did. And I keep playing it. I'm on New Game Plus, 60% through the game. I'm having a great time. Expedition 33 is a game that I start playing at 11 PM. And when I stop playing, it's 3 AM. It became an issue in the last few days. But I'm in love with that game. It's fantastic. Talking about AA, Clear Obscure, cream of the crop. So far, it's my game of the year. Rogue City on PS5 a few weeks ago. Yeah,
No suspects
awesome.
either.
I'm happy you enjoyed it. Yeah, this is basically more of the same, but there's flashbacks from Alex Murphy as well.
Did you hear that?
The door in front of us.
So there are sections that you play as human. Which again, this is what... I mean, already just having more of the same is good for me. But having this extra is cool.
It depends on who's shooting.
The CPU is in the description. It's a 13th Gen i5. Not super powerful, but good enough. At least for this generation. Breach. It was weird to not have that in slow motion.
All clear. We can go.
We have to get this thing out of the way.
And on the bad side, it has some scenes with many enemies where it dropped under 30. Yeah, that's an issue on PS5, definitely. Especially when you're in that rock concert. That place destroys the performance, but it also happened on PC. So definitely that was an issue that I ran into as well. There's just so many effects on the screen. Oh,
They may be around.
I saw the enemy.
Fuck, someone's across the hall.
Police! Drop your weapons now!
Yeah, not having the auto
I
targeting
must say,
feels
you really
weird.
feel better with bullets than with rats.
Yeah, told you. I wish rats at home were this.
5600, 4060. You're good. You got a 7950X 3D plus 9070 XC. Great GPU, by the way, and CPU.
Yeah, there must be a control panel somewhere around there. Look for it, Murphy.
Okay. This part is a little bit more restrictive though, which again makes sense. We're not RoboCop yet. But I like the atmosphere. Here you can see that indirect lighting. Although it breaks very easily by putting something in the middle. One fight scene in the sewers with men on armor dropped like 20 FPS. Oof. That sucks. I forgot about that fight. Also the end of the story. It's been a while since I finished the game. Regroup. Can I jump through the window? No, of course not. You know what this corridor reminds me of? If you ever played Battlefield 4, the campaign, it heavily reminds me of that. That part, at least. Yeah, this part as well. It was one room with like 8 men. What? 8 robots in one room? I don't remember that. Oh, yeah, my gun here is not automatic. Like here it drops pretty damn hard out of the roof.
Police! Drop your weapons!
That's traversal stutter again. Still, we're playing at 1440p, so... And we're not even on balanced DLSS.
Over here.
Squeeze through, like on many other games. You gotta have the squeezing through small place moment. Oh, I know what's coming, I think. Breaching! Okay, we skip the cutscenes, as usual.
Police! Surrender!
They're covered!
Get as many as you can!
Anybody else?
Murphy, get
Playing this on PC makes it so easy. With a controller, I'll have a lot of trouble with getting headshots. With a mouse, you're basically clicking heads. I'm happy it doesn't have mouse acceleration. From all the physics while shooting, probably FPS back to 60 or close after we're dead. Yeah, also those enemies, when you destroy them, they leave like an electrical effect while the model is being dissolved. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, 1440p, let's get back to our RoboCop section before anything.
Down here. Hey, watch out for the trash bags.
Oh, and I have a flashlight, I didn't know that. And it casts shadows. Like in Metro. Although the shadows from the flashlight are very low resolution, but that makes sense.
Good thing I bought batteries from
I'm guessing it's an optimization for performance reasons. Oh, this in real life will be super scary. But look at that blood pouring through the wall. That's awesome. See, those details are super nice. Not all games have them. Yeah, more ammo. Just like that. Alex Murphy, Special Forces. I play better as Alex Murphy than as RoboCop.
Yeah, we have to go upstairs.
Probably because I can run and crouch.
Right. Regroup with the others. Weapon drawn.
Taking cover.
Okay, that guy didn't have self-preservation.
We shouldn't stall. Guess the way forward.
It's funny that I can just have an inch of cover and they don't shoot me. Definitely play it on the hardest difficulty to enjoy it, to enjoy the most out of it. I'm playing on
Graves,
hard.
Death is enough.
I'm gonna make it even. Stand aside. I tell you, working.
Ooh, never mind, never mind. Never mind, I suck. Yeah, that blood splatter also happens basically
Graves, one
if
death
you
is
do a
enough.
critical hit.
I'm gonna make it even.
Hang on, let it load. When you do a critical hit, that happens. Weird. It was hard lock into 45. I think we're VRAM limited at that point. Interesting. See, 8 GB of VRAM, 1440p. I'm on the highest setting, so I could lower some global illumination and textures, but still, that's not a good look. Okay, so for 4K, I'm going to drop to high. Yeah, definitely high. And disable the lumen reflections. This is, as far as I know, is DLSS 3, but I'm going to jump into 4K now, so no worries. We'll check that out. $4K. So 4K is pretty expensive, but again, it's kind of the joke. Let's do native for the memes and let's see what happens. So this is 4K high. Native. This is probably going to be below 30, but still. Wow. Yeah, 4K just looks so sharp. It's insane. It's just a huge performance hit. I cannot hit anything. Yeah, more budget for the blood effects, less budget for the face effects. Sounds like a good call to me. Okay, effects. I'm going to lower global illumination further. Same with reflections and effects. And that's probably good enough. Okay, into the 50s. If you have VRR display, that's probably going to be the sweet spot. So 4K mid-high. DLSS performance, which again internally is 1080p, but as I said every single time, looks way better than native 1080p. But that's to be expected. The target is 4K at the end of the day. But again, this is not a 4K card. I'm doing this because I'm curious.
Adjust position.
But again, considering it's 4K on a UE5 game with upscaling, this still looks pretty good. That doesn't look good though. Look at those windows. It's clear that's not a playable part. This is only outside. That's funny. And this, I think, let me check very quickly if it's DLSS 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure it's DLSS DLSS 3. Steam apps, common, RoboCop, Rogue City Unfinished Business, game, binaries. No, it's not here. It's on content? No. Engine. No, it's not this either. Vorbis, Windows. No, it's not this either. It's hard to find for me. Plugins. DLSS. Found it. Okay, let's see what we're getting into. This is... Yeah, it's DLSS 3. 3.1. So if you were wondering, this is not DLSS 4, but we can swap it around with NVIDIA app. So if you're into that sort of thing, you can do it. Hiro, ¿qué tal? ¿Todo bien? Tanto tiempo. Okay, oh, they're taking cover and I'm running like a moron. That's okay. And VRAM, we seem to be okay. Ooh, shotgun. Can I grab it? See, more blood splatter. Sorry, I broke your leg. I wish I could grab the shotgun. I'll be too overpowered. If I did, though. Somebody was playing Elden Ring. What is your opinion on the 50-50? We don't talk about the 50-50. It's basically what a 50-30 should have been, and I died. Oops. So basically,
Graves, one death is enough.
I think I'm going to go, if I add any new GPU to the channel, it's probably going to be a 5060 Ti 16 gigs. I'm not going to get another 8GB GPU, first of all. And the 5050 is a joke. You're better off getting a 4060. Looking at the 5050, the 4060 looks like a good card. DLSS 4 is named like 310. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was 4.0. So it's DLSS 4. It's like Gamers Nexus said with the 5050. It's already e-waste. It's a waste of sand, exactly. $5060 Ti 16 gigs is the only one that is worth it. At this time, yeah. If you're on the lower price point and you want something that makes more sense, 5060 Ti 16 gigs. Just the fact that we have 8GB options is hilarious to me. There's no reason to go for the 8GB version. $5070 or $5060 Ti. The 70 doesn't have 16. Well, that's true. The 5070 has 12 gigs, right? They did the same freaking thing with the 3060 and the 3070. The 3060 was 12 gigs. The 3070 was 8. And well, the games that use a lot of VRAM, bye-bye 3070. I'm guessing it's due to the way that they put the RAM chips there. Okay, I'm back at RoboCop.
This time.
Yeah, 5070 Super would make more sense, but usually the price point that I have on my videos is closer to what the 5060 costs, which only has 8 GB of RAM, of VRAM. So yeah, I think my next one will be a 5060 Ti 16 gigs. I'm going to wait a little bit longer though, before I make a decision. Because I feel bad for buying those cards. Yeah, Indiana Jones is another great example. Yeah, especially if you're buying a 70 series card. I mean, what are we doing? But hey, Nvidia has the biggest part of the market, so they can charge whatever they want. Okay, new enemy. This reminds me of the enemies in Terminator Resistance. They were like some drone mines that chased after you. That's a cool addition. Let me reboot the capture card just in case.
RoboCop has reached the floor. Data squad, be ready.
Yeah, although Indiana Jones is basically VRAM the video game. It's a great game, but man, the VRAM usage. Even I have a 4090 and I still felt like I was using too much VRAM. Especially when you use path tracing, but that makes sense. Path tracing is super demanding. Oops, one button. FSR4 seems pretty close to DLSS4. Yeah, but it requires, as far as I know, the latest AMD cards. Which makes sense. It's like, whoa, my connection. Okay guys, I should be back now. My internet cut for a moment. I'm back, hi. As I was saying, I'm happy that FSR4 looks good. Nvidia needs freaking competition on everything. What about 3090 with 24 gigs? Yeah, it's not a bad idea. A 3090 right now is a great deal. It's not as powerful as a 4090, but you get a lot of VRAM. And great performance. It's like a 4070 Ti when it comes to performance. I'm talking about the 4090. It's a little bit slower on ray tracing stuff, but again, the amount of memory is great. I'm back. I should be back. Yeah, I was out for a second. My internet sometimes doesn't want to cooperate. And Last of Us Part 1, FSR4 looks better than DLSS4. Awesome. Oh well, it's an AMD sponsored title. Yeah, but still, the fact that we can compare it in a positive way is a big advantage. I wish we could do that without proprietary hardware, but what can you do? Sacrifices. The thing is, we need more games that support FSR4 out of the box, because DLSS is on almost every game right now. Every new game. AMD needs to put FSR4 on as many games as possible. Or make it easier to implement. I heard that ray tracing is bad on 3090. It's slower. It's still not bad. But it's a lower generation RTX, RT chip. So, RT cores, better said. So yeah, it's worse on ray tracing, but you get a lot of memory, which is pretty cool. But again, more close to a 4070 Ti when it comes to performance, generally speaking. Okay, where to now? Do you have a key card? Scars. But in my country, at least, I use 3090 is $800, which I think is a great price. It used to be more than $1,500. And 4090 is like $1,800, and a 5090 is $4,000. So at least in my country, it makes more sense to buy a 3090 or a 4070 Ti. What am I missing? footprints. Oops, fatal error, we crashed. Well, that sucks. I hate this error. I'm not sure if it's because I have an Intel CPU, but this is the worst error in UE5. This happened to me on launch, actually, on when the base game came out. I had a crash in a very specific place every single time. So I'm not sure what's that about. Maybe I need to lower textures. I'm not entirely sure. Also CPU demanding for newer CPUs. But the fatal error thing, I've seen that so many times in UE5 games. That sucks. Okay. So 4K is cool, but I think on this card at least, 1440p is the way to go. So what I would do personally is something like this. I would first 1440p, the hell out of it. I would put it on quality upscaling at 1440p. Epic settings, maybe lower the global illumination a bit if you want more frames. Disable motion blur and add those lumen reflections. And you should be good. I'm not sure if I'm missing something. Maybe I need to lower, oh yeah, the global illumination, I need to lower it no matter what. But still.
RoboCop has reached the floor. Data squads, be ready to respond. Over.
I'm rebooting my capture card. You have just played 2 more hours non-stop on 12400F. New UE5 games. Crashes might be related to 13 and 14th gen. Okay, makes sense. This CPU's 13th gen, but the cores are actually 12th gen. On the 13500, that's what happens. But maybe it's my memory frequency. Maybe my memory frequency is too high, but it's only an issue that I have with UE5 games. It happens from time to time, especially in these AA games. But so far in my entire streaming thing, it's been the only crash that I got. So at least that's a good sign. On the base game, when it first came out, I got crashes every 20-25 minutes. The 4060 is performing worse than 3060? No, it's performing better. The thing is, since we have less VRAM, at 4K we need to lower the textures. Otherwise the game will slow down. So raw performance, faster. When it comes to VRAM, is less VRAM, so that makes it slower in VRAM heavy situation. To the trash! Sometimes even the 3060 is slower. I mean, it's always slower, unless you're in a VRAM starved situation. That's what I'm trying to say. And also on ray tracing, the 4060 is faster. But again, that makes sense. It's a newer gen RT core. Do you have rebar on? Obviously, always. Same with hacks. Hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Unless I'm playing on my main PC that I have to record OBS stuff, that stuff is always on. As if it crashes on the same spot. So I crashed here when I was examining the footprint. Let's see. So we scan that wound. Then the hands. and then the footprint, and if it crashes again, then it's an issue. It's an issue with the game. At least on my system. Oh yeah, Mr. 3060. That's true. I reset the BIOS a couple times in the past, and I always update it. Okay, yeah, that was a random crash then. But they're less stable on Unreal Engine 5 stuff, definitely. Actually, I had a 14900K that I got for cheap because I was like, okay, I undervolted and I'll be fine. So I got it for cheap. And then I ended up selling the 14900K because I was tired of getting crashes in UE5. I think it got super unstable. So I sold it and I bought a Ryzen 9 9950X 3D. So it's still good at, it's a bit better than the i9 for productivity, but for gaming it's significantly better. It's super stable in comparison. The thing is I had to buy DDR5 RAM, but other than that, it's so much more stable, it's ridiculous. So Intel really screwed up on that. And again, as I showed you before, here it drops pretty hard due to the effects. I forgot to lower the global illumination. Yes, I did. Oops. This is Epic. And this is 1440p, not 4K. My bad. Epic plus high GI. And this is DLSS quality. Yeah, Ryzen for the win. Yeah, at some point, actually, what I'm debating right now is actually upgrading the PC, the benchmarking PC, which is this i5 that I'm using right now, which is slower than a Ryzen 5 5600, but it's the one that I had for cheaper because I didn't need DDR5 RAM. So at some point I will have to change it to Ryzen. I have DDR5 memory now, so I can put it in there. So I'm debating that or getting another GPU. The thing with getting another GPU is that I'm not sure I'm going to have a lot of time to test them, so we'll see. I'm thinking about it. But I want more stability. Since I don't use this PC to do my full-time job, it's okay to have some instability. It's just annoying that sometimes V5 stuff crashes like that. But yeah, now that I'm using Ryzen, man, the stability improvement is ridiculously good. Shotgun out! that noise. When you shoot them in the face with a shotgun. Oof. Reduce 2 atoms. Oh. New Nova Lake Intel CPUs will integrate all the efficiency cores in one die, not separate like 13th and 14th gen. Okay. Yeah, I remember that Intel used to trash talk AMD when Ryzen came out. They had those cores glued together, and now Intel is doing the same thing because our platform is no longer scalable. So I'm happy that Ryzen happened. Otherwise, if Ryzen didn't happen, we will still be running as a high-end PC 4 cores and 8 threads. I mean, 4 cores, 8 threads was what i7s were, and those were top of the line things. And then we jumped to 6 cores, 12 threads in i5s. So yeah, Intel needs to regain trust, basically, from the consumers. Because don't tell me that they didn't know about this. They knew for a while. They didn't say anything until people started having issues. I'm not saying, oh, billion-dollar company better than this other billion-dollar company, but at least on AMD, they're doing a better job with the CPU stuff. But I remember when I got my first i7, it was 4 cores, 8 threads, and I was like, man, it cannot get any better than this. This is peak CPU. And then Ryzen happened, and a cheap Ryzen 5 ran better than an i7. Good times. And now memory compatibility is way better as well. I was expecting to have to fiddle a lot with the RAM, but the RAM is a 6000 MHz kit, and it worked right away. I enabled XMP and it just took a little long to boot the first time because of memory training. But after that, it was all fine. Intel is losing trust from server market. Ooh, yeah, that's when it hurts the most. The server market, man. Yeah, that's when they have the biggest market share. Especially in things that are so critical. Servers, those clients, if you disappoint them, good luck getting them back. Especially if you start having issues like things getting degraded. To the trash. But again, if Ryzen didn't happen, we'll still be like, maybe the maximum would be like 6 cores, 12 threads right now. That's why competition matters. Same with graphics cards. We need Intel to do better on GPUs, so Nvidia and AMD have to do something about it. I mean, I'm testing the 3060 and the 6050. Those cards are like, what, 4 years old, the 3060? And the 1650 is probably 6 years old at this point. Ooh, that explosion killed the frame rate. This place has a lot of reflecting stuff. i7-6950X was one of the most expensive Intel CPUs. Oh yeah, I remember that. That platform lasted nothing. It was like, it ended in less than a year. Xeon Platinums. Yeah, getting Xeons instead that were like the same i7 but with a weird motherboard. That was pretty common as well. Those Xeons. Ooh. This 6950. I think it was X99, the platform. If I remember correctly. They got insanely expensive.
The target has moved to another area. Stop RoboCop in the food hall. Over.
But again, if Intel gets a better footing later, it'll be good. More competition. Ooh. The game that keeps on giving. They introduced new enemies 4 or 5 times in the 3 hours of the game's runtime. It's funny that I got it with 2 hits though. Play on the hardest difficulty. This was not in the base game, I think. Okay. I understand what they wanted me to do. Get to the chopper! That's awesome. I'm going to die though. And all those effects on screen, that's what killed the frame rate. Next stream, I'm not sure, probably Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. As soon as that comes out, I'll be here. So probably next week. I thought it was a person. Oops. So yeah, I think that's enough for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You can find RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business on Steam. Let me show you. It's a DLC. Again, a DLC from Rogue City, but you don't need the base game to play it. It's standalone. You don't need to play the base game to understand what's going on, which I'm a huge fan of. I wish more games did that. Also, Rogue City is discounted right now, 90% off, so you can get it super cheap. Or if you don't want to buy it, you can also find it on Game Pass, the base game I'm talking about, not the DLC. If you go to Game Pass, you can find it, the base game, which I highly recommend. It's more of what I showed you here, but in a longer playtime. It takes longer to get the skills and all that. So thanks again to Nacon for providing access to the DLC, and to Xbox for providing Game Pass to show you Rogue City, at least when it came out. That's what I did, I think. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you with Wu Chang Fallen Feathers next week. And yeah, we're going to be gooners together again, like in Stellar Blade. Thanks guys, see you next time, have a good one, nice weekend.